The last couple of weeks has been rough. My daughter came down with a stomach flu this past Friday, which went around our entire house. So I've been dealing with stomach flu the last 3 or 4 days. It's been about a week and a half since I was able to get a leg workout in. So we are still training vertical jump. Today we're going to do some actual plyometric training before getting into the leg work in the gym here. And wanted to talk about, as we go through the workout, just some raw footage of not only the workout, but talking about setbacks and illnesses and flare-ups in training, as that's been something I've been working through with a few clients. And it's just an important thing to be armed with some knowledge and a strategical framework to get through when it happens, because it is going to happen. So we'll talk about that as we go through the workout. But workout today, we're going to do some max standing vertical jumps. And probably some drop jumps off a 6-inch box, and then back squats, split squats, and some 45-degree back extensions. So this is going to be the workout. Just some raw footage, take it along. Definitely not feeling the best. It's just been about a day since the stomach flu symptoms have subsided. But yeah, feeling a little weak, but we're going to get into it. So I'm already warmed up, got the vert trainer set at 25 inches, which is what I measured my standing vertical jump at about 2 weeks ago. So let's see how it goes. Going to do sets of max vertical jumps up until I'm not hitting the bell, and then we'll take a rest and come back and do it again, because the idea is to make sure we're getting maximum effort with each attempt. So we got set up. Like I said, we're ready to go, and this might be 1, 2, 3 jumps. It might be 5, but we'll find out. So just trying to get set, get familiar with it, and go for it. Got it. So there's one. Take a rest for a second, reset. And we missed. It might be a little bit high. So what we're going to do is bring it down just an inch and go for 24 inches and try to do the jumps from there. So yeah, that'll be better. So 1, 2, 3, barely snipped it. So 3 jumps, 4, and 5. So we'll stop at 5 reps. Just enough, like I said, because we want to make sure we're getting the maximum jump attempt on each one. So this is definitely going to be a process. You know, it's been so long since I've actually trained this way and jumped. So I'm gonna do a few sets of 5, and then do some, or 3 to 5 reps, as long as able to put maximum effort behind each jump. And then we're gonna do drop jumps on this day, or just some one leg approach jumps. Probably just some one leg approach jumps instead of the drop jumps. Save those for later, as they're more intense. And I was definitely overestimating what I'm able to do. So I'm gonna rest for a few minutes and do the next set. A couple sets of just standing max vertical jump attempts. All in all, about 8 or 9 attempts. So now I'm just gonna take a 1-step approach, and same height, see how far we can get. Just did a couple warm-up attempts, and this definitely felt very awkward, just planting the foot and jumping. The wind's kicking up out of here too, so. Feels so awkward, where like this 1-foot approach used to feel just very smooth. And we missed the bell. So I can already tell my conditioning is a problem as well. So, and we slipped on the concrete. Learning pains here, right? Just feels like you get those awkward type movements, like, I don't know, think about the old Bambi movie where Bambi's just learning to walk. It's feeling better as we do it. It's just trying to retrain that movement pattern and get better at it. Probably 1 or 2 more reps. Yeah, Legs are starting to feel a little sore, so we're gonna stop at that. The big thing I'm noticing, other than this being awkward and untrained for it, is I'm heavier, and not the good way, since the last time I was really jumping 3 years ago. So just with life changes and moving twice here and my daughter, we definitely put on some more fat than I wanted to from back when I was training for aesthetics in right before she was born, the summer of 24, when I was probably at the leanest I'd ever been in my life. So definitely want to lose some weight here over the coming months, and that'll help with the jumping too. So let's move in, go in the gym, and start some of the weight training. So at some point in time, whether you're going through an injury or having some pain in your training or stalling out, you're gonna hit a point to where you feel like, I'm making progress, things are going great, and then there's this setback or this stall, or you have a flare up and you weren't having any pain with the workouts and now you are. Maybe you're having an increase in pain and symptoms with whatever you're going through at rest, at night. It just feels like all the progress you're making has either taken a step back or completely stalled. And one thing I try to coach and go through is just this idea of being resilient to those feelings. And something that typically helps is just the idea of, hey, let's run it back, right? Like, run the same week of programming you just did back if there's no glaring issues like your strength is dramatically dropping off, or you're having an increase in symptoms or pain that's too severe. Because if you run it back, the likelihood that that week is going to go better than it did the previous week is pretty high, right? I try not to make any emergency changes to the structure of a program or the exercises or the loading parameters in it without trying that idea of running it back in one of two formats. Either keep the same week the same if the person I'm working with feels comfortable doing that, or even running it back, but slightly reducing the overall amount of load for the week. And that might be reducing the volume by a few sets. It might be decreasing the intensity by 10 to 15%, take 10 to 15% off of each lift, run the same exercises back, because the likelihood that the flare up or the setback, if you will, is coming from the actual exercise selection is pretty low. There's so many factors that could play into having a setback or a flare up, from sleep to stress to accumulating fatigue to going through challenges in life, whether that be at home, with your career, with kids, with whatever it might be. We're all dealing with different struggles that can accumulate and even affect your performance or how you feel in training or in the gym. And this is a passion for all of us that do it, but it's very easy to put the blinders on and be focused on what you're doing with your exercise programming, your performance, without taking into all of these other variables in life that have a big impact. So just that concept of running it back, and if you do the same week again and it goes better, it gives you a foundation of that mental and emotional resilience to know that not everything is linked to just what you're doing or your technique or how you're loading or the exercise parameters, right? But all of these other aspects in life that you can't account for and always control. But the one thing you can control is your training and your mindset toward it. So just that idea of doing the same workouts again, maybe with minor adjustments, maybe not, depending on how somebody's comfortable with it. And if it goes well, that gives you this confidence to know that things we look at are on a longer trend, on a greater scale, rather than just workout to workout, week to week. So running it back, it's a great idea. Build some resilience. Whether it be you're sick, you're coming back from illness, you haven't done a certain movement in a while and now it's giving you a flare up, or things have been going great for 4 to 6 weeks and you're hitting a flare up. So this is something that I'm going through and coaching people with right now, and it's almost inevitable. It's part of the process. And if we do a good job as coaches, we're educating people that at some point in time, your progress is not always going to be linear, and you're going to have some struggles. That's life. You're always going to have some struggles, but it's really not about what happens to you, but how you respond to it. And just doing the same workouts again, maybe with minor changes, can it really help build confidence and some resilience a lot. So, I'm putting that into practice right now. We've been sick, have a lot of life stressors right now going on outside of workouts. And I'm doing the same workout I did a couple weeks ago from the prior video when I tested my vertical jump. The goal's not changing, the concepts aren't changing. I'm taking my own advice and reducing some of the weight on these lifts just because when I warmed up here, I know that if I try to use the same resistance as a couple weeks ago, before I got sick, before I've had interrupted sleep and all these other variables, it's probably not going to go well, and I'd rather give myself room to build back up. So that's what we're doing. We've got back squats right now. Still the same idea. Barbell back squats, trying to move the weight as fast as possible, rep range somewhere between 3 to 6, and let's get after it. So yeah, clean reps, feels heavier than it did last time, even with less weight. That's okay. We're gonna do it, we're gonna make progress on it, and go from there. Back squats finished, and legs are definitely more fatigued from jumping first. So I'm actually bringing back Bulgarian split squats. I haven't done these in almost 2 years as well. I picked up this Titan Fitness split squat roller for these just because the roller I was using for the rack, I didn't really like how it was positioned. It wouldn't roll with me. So we're doing dumbbell opposite hand, trying to get a more narrow stance here and be a little more upright. Same type of deal with the back squats. We're trying to have a controlled eccentric and a faster concentric to help with the power. So probably could have went with some heavier weight on this, but again, haven't done these in a while and I'd rather give myself room to progress. Definitely a little more challenging though than I had anticipated, so I'll stick with that amount of reps on left leg, which is definitely my quote unquote weaker leg of the two. Yeah, you feel pretty good. We're trying to just keep all of our, or the majority of our weight on the front foot and develop that single leg power. Yeah, so when I coach usually setting up for these of 2 variations, if you want to bias your hips a little bit more, you would take a longer stance here with a bit more of a forward lean to get more hip move. And for quads, you bring your foot back a bit to a closer stance and let your knee move forward a bit. So gonna do a couple sets of those, and yeah, we need to get in better shape. Vertical jumps, back squats, and split squats out of the way. I would love to lie to myself and say that I'm a little out of breath just because I've been sick, but I know it's because I'm out of shape. So back extensions, we got a 15-pound dumbbell. Now I'm doing these set up with more of a focus on pushing the front of my thighs into the pad to use my hamstrings to perform the movement rather than thinking about just bending over and coming back up. So getting a good stretch on the hamstrings. Same sort of idea here. We're trying to control the eccentric and a more explosive concentric. And we are feeling the burn here. And we'll stop on that, do another set here, and I don't want to get too sore again to come back and do it again in a few days. So these are the workouts. Just got to keep progressing, fighting through a little bit when you have a setback, and just have that mentality of that your performance is still going to be there. It's just going to be a matter of how you respond to that flare up, that pain that hasn't been there for a while, that illness, that life stressor. So the big point here is to try to focus on what you can control and have a good mindset about it. So we'll got some client work to do here this afternoon, and then we'll be back at it tomorrow, training a little bit more of our upper body. So next time around, we'll probably be looking at more of the general strength training leg day and space out some of the plyometrics 2-3 times a week just for now. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions about dealing with pain, injury, progression with your training, yeah, leave me a comment. If this raw workout footage is something that you enjoy, I know it's a little more early 2000s style than some of the higher produced content now, but just trying to be real, trying to show what the process actually looks like for a mid-30s dude trying to get it back. So appreciate it. Fast forward to the second leg workout of the week, and some things are going to have to change here over the coming month because our lease on this rental house that we did have expires here in the coming weeks. So I'm going to have to pack up all the gym equipment and be out in the next week or so. So I might have transitioned to either going to one of the big chain gyms here in the city, or just start doing some calisthenics, body weight type training along with the jumping and sprinting. So this is kind of going to be one of the last workouts in here. So yeah, we're just gonna work hard on a few sets and then start packing some stuff up and moving. So we're set of hack squats here. I'm gonna show you this one just because the second leg workout here is a little bit more in the more general strength range. So just using the hack squat to get more leg stimulus in a controlled way. And we'll do a set here, see how many reps we can get, and go from there, do some leg extensions. So I like to get set up, feet very low on the platform here, and that was heavy set. We haven't pushed hack squats with that much weight in a while, so that felt pretty good. But anticipating that my training is going to be segmented, or fragmented rather, probably for the month of March, as the space at the house we just bought gets fixed up. And I'm wanting to do it right this time. Our prior home that we moved into, I was a lot younger, didn't give much thought to what I wanted the gym to look like, or the comfort of it. So basically just moved in, put horse stall mats down, and went. This time, going to frame the ceiling, put insulation down, lime wash the brick, get nice actual rolled rubber gym flooring. So hopefully it turns out pretty good, but it's going to be a lot of investment here over the next month in time and energy. So hopefully by the end of March, beginning of April, the new space will be set up and ready to go. So just going to train when I can and put my effort into some training and working with clientele. So we'll do a few more sets here, and then some leg extensions and back extensions, just the general following up work. I'm definitely someone that likes to have a consistent routine in day-to-day life and also training structure. So anything that sort of disrupts that will throw me off. And this last, since September, half year, a little over half year, with moving twice, changing life scenarios, responsibilities, it's definitely prevented me from having too much of a consistent routine day to day. And which is interesting, I was talking to a client recently about just their lifestyle and how programming certain days of the week just doesn't fit for them because they're traveling or have other responsibilities, and that if they travel or get back late on a plane trip, they might be jet lagged, not be feeling it. And it came to that discussion of we're training and trying to manage our symptoms from a perspective of productivity rather than just exercising and working out for the sake of it. So what we decided there was to focus a little bit more on progressing core movements over a week, but they don't have to occur on a weekly cadence. So going through that asynchronous training split is nice because it can allow for recovery when you need to, and it can allow to push harder when you need to. So I've been doing that on an asynchronous split of just push-pull legs, with rest days in between, just depending on how my daughter sleeps, how I'm feeling, responsibilities around the house. So those things can throw things off, but the bigger picture when you look at it is, are you making progress towards your goal over the long term? All right, we're gonna have peaks and valleys or ups and downs, good stretches, good days, bad days. But if you step back and look at things from a perspective of, here's where I started, here's where I'm going, are you making progress toward there even if the days and the weeks fluctuate in terms of how you're feeling? So perspective is a big deal when it comes to training, and especially if you're dealing with pain. So we did 3 sets of hacks there. My legs are pretty smoked. This is the heaviest we've done on hacks quite a while. So we're gonna do some prime leg extensions here. I have it set to bias the resistance curve in the stretch to mid-range. So I've got it set up here where it feels good to me. And this resistance is gonna feel a bit heavier than the last time I did it, just because we're fatigued from hacks. So probably gonna be in the higher rep range here, which is what we're going for. Definitely gets heavier in the mid-range with these. All right, good set. Oh, yeah, we're going to be wobbly and sore here. So, like I said, this is probably the last time I'll get to use most of my equipment until I get it set up in the new space. So, yeah, just some perspective this week on getting through flare-ups, setbacks in your training, adapting to whatever phase of life you're in terms of either consistent training or inconsistent training, and remembering that it's all about the progress you're making towards your goal, whether that be improving your athletic performance, physique, strength, or making productive progress in any sort of athletic endeavor in the presence of symptoms or pain. So just remember to try to keep things in perspective of playing the long game and where the goal is eventually going to lead you. So hopefully still going to be making some content here over the next month. It might not be training vlogs like this, but some form, maybe some examples of working with clients. So hope everybody's doing well, and keep lifting.